young boy I found that a little bit of splash improved my night on the town. It's true. So what could I do? I used my dash Gauche gentleman. Some girls didn't mind it, but most of them ran it sad. I must have smelled bad. You better hold on, ready or not, 'cause I need to use up all the eau de toilette I've got. 10 sprays of Ventus or Bogart for home. Hey lady, I'm taking you home. Whoa, I just don't care. Whoa, heavy on the spray. I take my fragrance and I spray it everywhere. Whoa, heavy on the spray. Whoa, I just don't care. Whoa, heavy on the spray. I've watched Max 40. I'm ready to lay. Whoa, heavy on the spray.
Hello everyone and welcome to my top 10 designer fragrances video. Today I'm going to be talking about my favourite 10 designer fragrances plus a couple of honourable mentions, and these are all ones that you can buy today, ones that you can get now. I've excluded fragrances which have been discontinued, many of which I love, and fragrances where the modern version is not as good as it used to be. So things that are really great like Dior Fahrenheit, or at least used to be great, we're not putting them in this list because the modern version has been reformulated. It's not what it once was. There's quite a few where that applies. Chanel Pour Monsieur, a real favourite of mine, but the modern version a little bit watered down, not quite what it once was. So these are ones you can buy today. That's the good news. You can go out and get these now. You don't have to worry about reformulation issues or which formula you get, and that they're easy to get, they're accessible. So let's get stuck into it. A couple of quick honourable mentions then. This one really almost made the list. I didn't want to have too many of the fragrances in the Iris Dior Homme tradition, and there are a couple later on. Valentino Uomo Intense, I really love this fragrance. It's made by the perfumier Olivier Polge, who did the original Dior Homme, and it's a fantastic fragrance with an iris note. It's got some kind of chocolatey notes, a bit of a dark chocolate orange note in there for me, and a lot of vanilla. A really seductive, sexy fragrance, great for younger guys, want something a little bit more sophisticated than 1 Million Privé. A really classy fragrance that I absolutely love, so an honourable mention is probably number 11 out of 10. The other honourable mention, because I'm excluding discontinued stuff, is Dior's Eau Sauvage Parfum. Eau Sauvage Parfum has recently been re-released with an overtly different formula. They've been open and told us all about that, which is good from Dior, but the original I really love. Myrrh, vetiver, and what's the other one? Bergamot are the notes in this one, and it's just a superb, rich, dense, rather mature smelling fragrance. It's a niche quality smell for me, with a kind of greenness and an incensey woody vibe that is absolutely classic. But the new one, I've sniffed it. I did a sort of mini review, first impressions on it. It is good, but the old version I think will never be beaten, and you can't get it anymore, so it's been excluded. Into the list proper then. Number 10. Allure Homme Edition Blanche from Chanel. In this list I've got quite a few that are quite niche smelling, quite challenging smelling, or innovative fragrances, but I wanted to put some crowd pleasers too. So Allure Homme Edition Blanche, often described as a lemon meringue pie smell. Certainly I get lemon. It's a sweet, smooth lemon rather than a sharp eau de cologne style lemon, and I find that there's a bit of a fizziness, perhaps from Chanel's famous aldehydes, and a sort of peppery note in there as well with the cedarwood dry down. Really great all-rounder for any age and any situation. You can wear this all year round. It may be more spring, summer, autumn. In the winter you might want something a little bit heavier, but it really is a great all-rounder for the office, for work, for college. Nights out you could wear it. It's not massive in projection, but it smells really nice when someone gets up close. So it'd be a great date night scent. Again, any age, any kind of person can wear this one, dressed up or dressed down. Number 9 in my list then is Rive Gauche pour Homme from Yves Saint Laurent. There's a tin can version as well that you can get. I've got that too. The modern one, the reformulation, is fine. I can't tell the difference. I've got both, I've used both, and I think they've now changed it so it has a clear bottle that looks a bit like the picture here. This one is a barbershop fragrance. Some of the main notes that you're going to get here, a lot of lavender, there's star anise in this one, there's a certain bergamot freshness in the opening, and it smells like a really good quality shaving foam. It's got a bit of a dad feel, so it's maybe going to appeal more to the 30s and upwards, but if you like something a little bit retro, competes with a lot of the barbershop scents you can get from niche houses, Aqua de Parma stuff, things from MDCI parfums like Invasion Barbar. They've all got their own barbershop themed fragrances which smell quite different to this, but this is a nice simple shaving foam smell for a real retro feel, something really novel and interesting that you can find today in your department stores. A great designer fragrance, first brought out in 2003. Number 8 then, and I want to pay thanks to Sebastian from Smelling Great Fragrances who inspired me to do this video with his top 10 designer fragrances recently. I'll put the link in the description below. He also included this one, Bentley For Men Intense. A boozy explosion hits you in the face. Rum is one of the real main features in this one. There's a lot of patchouli in the base and there's incense, a bit of clary sage too. So this is a very niche smelling fragrance. It could be a niche fragrance. It's not going to appeal to everyone. It might not be a crowd pleaser with all the ladies, but if you're into fragrances, you want something a bit different. Amazing prices can be got online for this one. The bottle is brilliant. It's from the English originating car company Bentley, and it's a fantastic fragrance with really good performance. Eau de Parfum, as are a lot of the ones in this list. So if you're daring, try this one. You will find it definitely not boring. Do try before you buy it if possible though, because it's not for everyone, but I love it. A classic innovative fragrance that we can find in our designer fragrance category today, and that's the great thing. Not all designer fragrances are boring and anemic and copying other things. This one is a case in point. Next up then, again, one for the everyman, one that young people can wear, one that can be appropriate for work, can be appropriate for different seasons. Aqua Amara from Bulgari. This fragrance has a really nice mandarin orange citrus opening. A little bit of patchouli and incense in the base gives it a little bit of depth. I've left out things like Armani's Aqua di Gio Profumo. I'm not going to be including Dior Sauvage or Bleu de Chanel in this list. For me, if you want a citrus, woody fragrance, it's a great all-rounder. Aqua Amara is it. It's great for summer, actually. It does have a summery vibe with the theme of the pebble on the beach, but because it's got that little bit more depth, I think it's more of an all-rounder as well. It can be worn in other seasons. So for me, 9 or maybe a 9 out of 10, I think now, this one. I really love it. Bulgari Aqua Amara. Well worth seeking and checking this one out. Coming in at number 6, this might surprise you. I'm going with the original Valentino Uomo. I smelled it again a couple of days ago, and I've been smelling it a couple of times since and wearing it just maybe as I'm around the house, not as my scent of the day, but just on part of my body. And I really love this scent. It's made by Olivier Polsch, a man who did the original Dior Homme, and he did Valentino Uomo Intense as well. This one has a really notable hazelnut chocolate coffee twist in it. A little bit is leaning almost gourmand, this fragrance, which is really intriguing. But it also, although iris doesn't seem to be listed as a note, it definitely has a very strong similarity to Dior Homme Intense. So it's got that Dior Homme vibe, but with a little chocolatey, clever twist. So I prefer it just slightly to the original Dior Homme in its current formulation, and I love the bottle. It's a really unique fragrance that is charming, a little bit elegant, a little bit sexy and seductive. You know what they say, if you smell like dessert, the ladies will flirt, and that just could be the case with this one. So seek out Valentino Uomo if you want to try something different from Dior Homme. You can wear it in the daytime, I think. Might just be a teeny bit sexy for work, but, you know, you might not mind that. So well worth checking out that one. One of my favourites in the designer realm today. Next up, we've got one that I mentioned in my top 10 summer fragrances. It's Ferrari Bright Neroli. Often compared to Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino, but it doesn't smell that close to it. It's similar. Citrus, neroli, a little bit of woodiness and muskiness in the base. Really good performance. Superb for hot weather. Very cheap if you can buy it online. I know some people in America can't get it. I'm not sure. Let me know if you can source it now in America, but it's worth actually maybe blind buying if you just want something transparent, fresh, with a really high quality ingredients, or it smells like they are. So I really wear this one a lot when I'm going to work or when it's hot conditions. You could wear it on a night out too. Projection is not bad at all. I would probably atomize it and respritz a bit. Gives you that lovely fresh soapy smell. For me, it's the winner in the category of fresh soapy scents. Beats things like Mugler cologne, things like Dior Homme cologne. This is my favourite in that kind of category for pure citrus freshness and cleanliness. Number 4, little bit daring, watch out. Egoiste from Chanel. Chanel Egoiste, first released in 1990. Actually, it was brought out before that. I think in 87. I think it was Bois Noir or something as an exclusive range. Then it was discontinued, brought back. The smell on this one is very rich and very mature and very formal smelling. It's got cinnamon in there, but there's sandalwood in the base. It's a very, very nice sandalwood fragrance. Mandarin gives it a little bit of freshness in the top. and it's rather spicy. Spicy, woody, a little bit sweet, but quite formal, and you would want to dress up with this one. It's more for colder seasons, more for the mature gentlemen, but younger people could. Amongst designer fragrances that you can buy today, this is a real standout. It is not like anything else that you smell out there. It's not boring, it's not generic. I advise people, give Bleu de Chanel a miss maybe. Check this one out and you might just open up your nose up to a whole new world. Egoiste from Chanel, my favourite from Chanel. Number 3, if you've watched my videos before, you'll know I'm a fan of this one. It's Dunhill's amazing Icon. Dunhill Icon. Like it so much that I've got a 100ml backup bottle along with the 50ml that I originally bought. So I put my money where my mouth is. This one opens up with real sparkling freshness. There's a juniper note, kind of gin and tonic-esque note. There's bergamot. I think there's a little bit of neroli in there as well. In the middle, you've got lavender, giving it an almost barbershop feel, and black pepper. And in the base, there's vetiver, and I would say quite a bit of ISO E Super, which is just a very nice, smooth, woody note that a lot of fragrances have today, including Terre d'Hermès, which this is sometimes compared to. It's like a fresher, more sparkling version of that. The bottle is sensational, performs really well, eau de parfum. It's one of my real favourites. Dunhill Icon is coming in at number 3 for me of all designer fragrances you can get today. Online, you can get this for great prices because Dunhill is not that sexy of a house in most people's view. They don't sell that well, I don't think. No offence to Dunhill, I really love this one, but other releases weren't that great. So this one brings that house back to greatness. There are a couple of flankers to this one, but the original is my favourite. Number 2 then, Bogart pour Homme. This is a designer house. It's a cheapie really in terms of price, but it's Jacques Bogart is a designer house and they make quite a lot of fragrances. Bogart pour Homme from the great hand of perfumier Maurice Roussel is a superb fragrance with a kind of cherry tobacco vibe. Some people describe it as Thierry Mugler's Pure Havane mixed with Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Mal. Maybe a bit, yeah. It's a kind of aromatic fougere barbershop fragrance with a ton of tonka bean sweetness and a slightly cherry tobacco vibe. Great for actually situations where you really want to smell strong on a night out. It'd be probably a good clubbing scent or young people going out for a party and stuff. I think you might be able to pull this off if you want to be a bit different. Bogart Prom doesn't sound that appealing maybe, but you know, it's worth trying this one out. It's hard to sample, could have to be a blind buy, but the prices are so low, you might just risk it. Performance is excellent. The smell is superb and a little bit unique, and it's really got a nice sweetness, but somehow it doesn't get sort of cloying or annoying, and it's very well balanced and blended. And every time I wear this, I really enjoy it. It brings a smile to my face. So even though it's a real low price, it's number 2 in my designer fragrance list, Bogart pour Homme. Finally, the winner, number 1. Any one of these could have been number 1 in a way, they're all good, but number 1 for me is Dior Homme Parfum. I had to pick one of the Dior Homme range, and I ummed and ahed, and I decided to go with the Parfum. I do own the Dior Homme Intense as well. I've got a sample of Dior Homme, but this one is the winner for me. It's centred around the note of iris, as are all the Dior Homme fragrances, but this one has the notable addition of a really strong leather note and a very nice sandalwood dry down, which replaces the more vanillic dry down on Dior Homme Intense. So this is a more masculine, amped up, macho version of Dior Homme Intense. Performance is out of this world, very, very strong. Projection, longevity, very, very good. It's really, really niche quality. It could have been easily released in Dior's Privé line and no one would have batted an eyelid. It's that good. As far as we know, there hasn't been a reformulation since 2014, so we're safe to get any version, unlike Dior Homme Intense, where they say it's being watered down all the time. And it just stands out among designer fragrances for me as something really, really powerful, daring, and artistic. It's a great fragrance that's been made by Francois Demachy, the current Dior main perfumer. So for me, this is the number 1 fragrance. What did you think of my picks? Are you amazed that I didn't put Dior Sauvage in there? No, Invictus, Aqua. Some of the popular ones most reviewers choose, I don't happen to favour them as much. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them putting them in there, but my list is a little bit more my personal favourites. Please let me know if you disagree. Don't mind some constructive criticism. But I think I've given you some daring ones, some nice safe ones, something for everybody, and we've opened our eyes to the fact that there are still some really interesting and enjoyable fragrances available on our shelves today. We don't always have to pay big bucks for Creed or Tom Ford private blends. So Dior Homme Parfum, the winner. See you next time. Thanks for watching, and whatever you're doing in life, remember, let's project.
Whoa, I just don't care.